We're all queens, but I am Queen Elizabeth.
Filthy Rich. Bomm Sheltuh. Everybody on College Street. Straight up. You know what I'm saying? Well, move y'all. Can't believe it. They thought I was a bum. They thought he was a bum, y'all. Straight up. Yeah. You look like a bum, y'all. Hell yeah! Word. You look like a bum, yo. I love it. Straight up, yo. Image is everything. Yo, run the music. Straight up. Long City, man. We here for good. That's what we represent. Yeah. Check it out. Filthy Rich. Turn it up. What you doing? Yeah. We can't afford pretty clothes. 1, 2. Turn it up a little bit, man. Yeah. Hey, yo, stop what you're doing, cause we about to ruin. Damn, it's in the style that you used to. I look funny, yeah. But yo, we out of money, see? So tell the world, I hope you're ready for me. Yo, got around. We the only duo in town who say play it loud if it's underground. Yeah. Hey, yo, I steal all the merchandise you got in your show. What? So just let me introduce you. What's up? My name is Filthy Rich. This is my esteemed colleague, Nervous Wreck. Bomm Sheltuh.
Bomm Sheltuh, he named you the therapist?
Yeah, it was a duo. Two rappers. One was a rapper and producer from Fayetteville, North Carolina. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for them because they were from my city and they made music to me that sounded just as good as Outkast or Redman, Method Man. You know what I mean? It's the first time I heard somebody from the city doing quality type music that was similar to what I listened to. So they had the coolest rap names I ever heard. Nervous Wreck was one of them, and the other one was Filthy Rich.
Hey y'all, it's Lizzie Yayo with Keepin' It a Bando. And I got some fire, dope artists, entrepreneurs in the building, legends. And I'm gonna let them introduce themselves.
Well, started in a small, let me say it like this. It was a place that most of us wanted to be down with, and it was I don't know about. I did that on purpose.
My name is Nervous Wreck from the legendary group Bomm Sheltuh. Fayettenam. This is my man, long-winded Filthy Rich from Bomm Sheltuh.
Now, so I just thought that we need to basically get up under the post, make sure that we don't give away any shots, keep down the number of turnovers. So that's just great to basically we're gonna go back in.
Pass the ball.
Definitely make sure that we get the assist, and I'm gonna crash the boards as hard as I possibly can, and we're just gonna do what we can and possibly just get us to the championship.
Well, let's go, okay? A lot of 2-6 shit going on in the building. That's the definite. How was it? Like, when did you all start doing music?
Like start over again. No, go ahead.
I mean, I started out DJing while I was in Germany, probably around 11, 12 years old, I would say. And then when I was 13, I moved back to Fayetteville from Germany. And when I moved back, I was DJing in I wasn't really like DJing parties or nothing. I was young, but I was like just DJing. I'm known as in my neighborhood as the DJ. And I was like looking for rappers to DJ for in my neighborhood. So I kind of like had some of the cats over that I played ball with and stuff like that, and would be trying to get them to rap. And then eventually I started like writing for cats. Started writing raps for cats and be like, yo, say this or whatever. And I'll just be back there playing instrumentals and stuff like that. And then they caught wind of my boy Marcus, aka Snipes in the neighborhood. He started coming through. And then shortly after that, he introduced me to Filthy. And then we kind of started a group from there. And we never really had we wasn't making beats or nothing at that time. We was just like, yo, we want to be rappers. And how do we figure this out? So, we figured out studio time and all that. But basically for me, I started DJing around 11, 12, 13, came back, met him. So probably around 14, I say, I started rapping and became a group with him around 15 years old.
And then we did the charity Rap for Cats, in which we provide meals with rhymes for kittens. So sorry about I was on
Not meals for the kids.
Raps for Cats.
Cats.
Yo. But yeah.
How the story happened with him coming in, like, well, you want to tell the story?
Well, as far as how we
How
met,
we met and how you came into the group.
Mm-hmm.
I got here at 5 and went through school. Blah, blah, blah.
Just start at the.
You're right. All right. Well, I went to class as I was a young lad, and about 5 years old. I just got back from Italy, and I said to myself, I gotta stop these bullies from beating up on me. They were whooping my ass on a daily basis. So there was a friend of mine named, it really does feel like it. There was a friend of mine named Darnell, right? And Darnell had seen me get beat up before. And so, but for real, I was in class with Marcus first. Sorry, Mark. The only gray-haired dude it's hilarious. He got that thing where he got the speckled hair. Old folks say you got good luck for the rest of their life or something. But Mark was a quirky type, but like wasn't quirky. So he got along with me perfectly. Mark is what I call a mutant wrangler. So he always gets like weirdos around him and stuff, and I was one of those weirdos. And he was talking about him and his homeboys rapping and whatnot. And the ill part about that is this is back when Moray's dad was rapping with him or rapping around him. Yeah. You know what I mean? So that's how far we go back, everybody. And I can't wait for and Moray's dad would later go on to rob me. It busted my lip. And but it's all forgiven. It's hilarious. But when they was doing that, I would hear about him making music with Moray's dad, who was the shit at the time, real rap, Ebony, and he was killing it. So and like if you remember back then, it was all about New York because that's the closest thing that you could get to like hip hop, just the raw essence of it. And so when I would hear these things, I have this weird tendency to keep a ear open for different stuff. I manipulator. I needed a way to matter in their lives because these dudes, they were the cool dudes and I wasn't. So I would figure out like one day I got a card from Maurice Grady, who actually had somebody over there in the trailer park that I lived in. He knew somebody. Oh, fun fact, trailer park I lived in at this time while I'm meeting B, I was hanging out with Hood the Mayor and Passport School. Get some. Anyway, so
that was his childhood.
Yeah, so it's like we're so interwoven, like Fayetteville. That's why I be like, fuck Fayetteville, because it's a revolving door of just so many famous types, and we're like everybody's cousins or whatever, but nobody has to really hold allegiance to us. So this will come in later on in the story. So when I met Maurice Grady, I thought to myself, man, rapping and production and so I was like, I went up to school and I tried to tell Mark like, hey, I got this card from this producer that I know, yada 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 yada. All you gotta do is let me ride with you, hopefully be my friend, you know what I'm saying? And so what I did was when they set up the appointment or the session, which you had to do back then, if you didn't know a producer, you wasn't, you know, serious about it. So we was feeling all super serious. Well, mind you, they're feeling all super serious. I'm like, hell yeah. You know what I'm saying? And I conveniently caught a ride with them to the studio because, they had to talk to the dude that got them in the studio. At the end of the day, the night prior to that, I wrote a rap and I was like, it was like one of those Disney movie moments where I'm like, God, if you just let me write this, I'll never have to sit at this table by myself anymore. So I wrote this rap on the chance that I was counting on it. We had this whole boy named Harrell. And Harrell's parents were very strict. And so I was like, come on, keep his ass at the house. That's all I was thinking about because it was a trio. So I was like, yo, if I could get them, if they just find out what I already knew, And that was from hanging out, going over there. I went over to your house before and said that, but I got the idea that, man, Harrell cannot leave the fucking street. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, all right, so y'all in a rap group with Harrell. It's 3 of y'all. Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. He'll be out of there in no time. You know what I'm saying? So when they get ready to go to the studio, Harrell can't go. So I said, hey, well, I mean, I just happen to have this one rap that I've rehearsed all night long. And, you know, I mean, if anybody, you know, wants to, I don't know, make me part of the group or something. I mean, I jumped into his rap just to jump, pump your fists.
Y'all want some exclusive shit. You're going to the first rap.
That's all I remember. I mean, I had to, we would go at, you know, you were going at folks. We went at crisscross. I said, I mean, I had the skills to make you jump, but I got the skills to make you pump your fists. Because I'm not new to this, black. You keep coming back and you receive a pimp smack. Hilarious, because I got slapped by my mother's boyfriend. Huh?
Crisscross was out there?
Yeah, we were trying to, and then it just came out. We were never allowed to enjoy the crisscross fame. we automatically made them and like quietly the youngsters because they looked like they could fight. But we quietly made crisscross and the youngsters like our sworn enemies. Like, oh, you got the nerve to be a teenager or rhyming words? All right, you know what I'm saying? And so
the youngsters, that's crazy.
Boy, when they got Tretch to help them when they came back out with that joint, and you was like, damn man, I don't know, those metaphors are hard. They might beat me up.
As soon as you said that, my mom was just like,
hop, cruise the hip, pop. Cruise pop, some
cruise
shit.
Pop, it's the cruise pop.
Oh my God, man, it was adorable. And then the ever famous illegal, and illegal dropping. But that's a whole nother. You about to take me down a rabbit hole. But yeah, so we met up. I tried to say the rap. I'm notorious for fumbling. It's like it's a thing with me because I'm a perfectionist. So I might be going right through the rhyme the way that we need, but I'm thinking like, oh, I didn't say the right way in the beginning. And it's going to eat me alive until I trip up. And that was like, let's say career suicide back then because you were paying for studio time. So if you pay for 1 hour and the person goes, hey, in the middle of the session and wants to have a talk, hey, you know, blah, 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 blah. And we're just sitting there like, oh, blah, 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 blah. It goes on, the hour goes, he goes, man, it's an hour. We're like, hey. They're like, yeah, see you later, though. We're like, man, we're just going to come back through and probably pay you some more money. And
we was broke kids in high school, so paying for studio time was a big fucking deal back then.
Yo, I promise you.
So like he said, when we was in the studio that first time, another homeboy that was in the group didn't show up. Damn. So us three became like the official group. And back then we was called the Wolf Pack, and then we became Necessary Roughness.
Nope, the Roughnecks.
All right, there's so many different names. But officially we was Necessary Roughness after that.
It's not a state of mind or place. That is a way of life.
Money was the house. Underneath my naps come wicked nigga plans. Don't wave your hands like this. Check it out. We Necessary Roughness. My man Deviant. Get straight play. These guys nervous over here. We about to flip this track. Go ahead, you lose. Check it out, and it's going down like this.
I take you walk from the wild side, so call over the hearts that never on stage, you crack the boat with a control, swing your blow, favorite shots to your nose, and a crazy roughness, grip on the grip, cause I'm about to rip. I can rush with the jokes, like a backslap in a honey dip. And like I'm hitting skin, I'm out when it's over, now a soldier. Cause the thrust, cause I'm about to load you with some freestyle finesse. The master. Now show enough, I guess it's about to hit, man. It's over, makes it all rough. Always been a rough neck. I never been a whip. And the killer heard the flavor, so she had to catch a clip. Check, what the heck, it's time to get wrecked. So hit the deck, who's next to boogie with the rough neck? Had you lose, and tell you lose, come on. Had you lose, and tell you lose, come on. Had you lose, and tell you lose, come on. Had you lose, and tell you lose. I'm in a panic, I said I'm ready, everything I'm willing. No one to ready shot, we get shot, but I'm a villain. Nervous wreck, got to hatch it. So I'm ready to shake, robbing banks, busting cats, but I'm steady shooting blank. I'm a rough this together, strap with the fork on the left, one jump, rolling on like a speed bump. Try me any place, anytime, all the time. I damage first when my nigga play the rhyme. Be on the lookout, I'm quick to overact, robbing handicap, thinking anchor riders burning in me like a clap. So I take a reason to my mark on the wrist. I watch you lose and take notes, and sweat filthy rich, a bad influence, instigating riots, get the press through the flavor, caught the funky, you fire, it's my nature. Make the choke move with my necktie, head to the back and take a jab at your left eye. I'm breaking crust, but now it's time to parlay. I freak the funk, that's the reason Bobby had to get away. The big rip up, you wonder why I did it, it's a secret, it's a setup. You're just another victim, so be it. The herd tried to blame me, too late I took a swing, I flipped the coin, if you said you another Roddy King. Had you lose, and tell you lose, had you lose, and tell you lose, come on, had you lose, and tell you lose, had you lose, and tell you lose. Nervous wreck, hold up, let me finish. Just been in the R&B, so I stick with the roughness. I got the music, though. Construction, I got the hardcore. Rugged production. I'll rob your banks. So down number one, down one. Coin if it's heads, then I'm done.
So, you know, we went to, you know, that was junior high.
And that was Tommy Cold Crush after Maurice Grady.
Yep. And you know, R.I.P. Tommy Cold Crush. He definitely taught us a lot in those little few sessions that we had. But
the
then,
dude with the nunchucks that showed did everything.
Let me play roughness. Sorry, it's some inside shit.
So he used to have nunchucks with him?
Nah, some cat that used to come over there, yo. That shit used to be crazy.
He'll miss a tooth right here, and so he automatically spoke the Dun language.
What was the name of the hood that used to be there?
It was the courts. We was in the courts.
What's the name of it?
Cross Creek Courts, right?
Nah, what's the one that they...
Oh, shit. I know what you're talking about. Come on, man.
Campbell
you know
Terrace.
Campbell Terrace.
So this was Campbell Terrace. Are y'all familiar with Campbell Terrace?
Shout out to Campbell
So
Terrace.
imagine his mother dropping us off in a all black van. Dropping us off in the middle of Campbell Terrace. Can you imagine both sides of that story? Like how his mom felt going out of there, like she's leaving her son.
The very first time we went was my brother.
Oh, shit.
The very first time we went over there, my brother took us over there. And I'll never forget, the whole hood came outside and was just like, yo, you need them boulders, brother. And the whole neighborhood had us trapped in, and my brother was scared. He was like, he floored it. Yo, that shit was crazy.
What's wrong used to be like that back then.
Yeah.
What? We're in a black van, so they don't know.
Put the refrigerator down and trap you in.
Yo, and you know, Campbell Terrace was like a horseshoe. It was like, there was two ways in, but if you go in one way, you got to come out the other side. So all they did was when we came in, they just blocked off the exit and surrounded the car. Yo, that shit was crazy. We went and called Cold Crush. It was just like, yo, we try to come to your house. Cass was like knocking on the window of the car. And he was like, yo, I'm gonna call the wolves off, man. Go ahead and come on back. So anyway, shout out Cold Crush, Campbell Terrace.
There was a dude with nunchucks that came in there and was just started freestyling that necessary roughness with the toughness. And he was just doing, and it was just weird. Like me and B were just looking at each other like, yo, where do you even file this in your brain? Like, yo, necessary roughness.
Because his crib was just like literally like a melting pot. Like
was Wu-Tang out there?
No.
Wu-Tang out?
Well, Wu-Tang was no. I
I
don't
him to be on some karate stuff.
Nah,
Oh,
Wu-Tang
no.
was not out there.
He just made. He was proud of it. He said, "Yo, Tommy, I just made these nunchucks." And we were just sitting there like, I mean, we was just sitting there like, oh, this is good. Because we're naturally smart asses. So it's like you ever had that person at school, you can't look at them if there's something funny because they're going to make you laugh. So I had to look this way and make sure. Because, boy, we were both, we got that joint last night. I mean, when we got in the car that night laughing at that shit. I mean, just laughing at just how it just sounded. We just naturally smart asses. Let's say roughness with the toughness. Yo, these.
I can imagine.
It was adorable. so
let me get back on track. So then, after the Cold Crush era, which was like a few months, a little time after that.
So we had to keep honing it, definitely.
Yeah. So like, my brother was friends with Shakir. They used to play basketball together. My brother told him like, yo, my brother DJs and was working on music or whatever. So Shakir was like, yo, I rap, I produce, and we was in my backyard playing basketball. And then he actually left. He was like, yo, I'm going to get my equipment. He came back to my house with like his keyboards and was like showing me how he sampled. And I'm sitting there looking like, damn, you could sample on the keyboard. I had a DJ mixer that could sample for 4 seconds. And like,
what was he on, the ASR?
Nah, yo, he had some Casio joints, and them joints only sample for like 8 seconds or something like that. But he had 2
if you were lucky.
He had 2 of them, and they weren't even like MIDI together. So he'll like sample drums on one and sample like a little sample on the other, and he'll hit play at the same time.
Sync it on itself. That's crazy.
And I mean, a lot of times it wouldn't be on beat or whatever, and there was no way to save it. None of that shit. So he's just like, yo, you just listen to the beat, and then whenever you have to cut it off, you just gotta cut it off. But back then, I didn't really even know what saving shit was anyway. This was like when equipment wasn't what it is now. You know what I'm saying? Like, there was no saving shit on disc or none of that shit. So anyway, me and him hit it off, and he was just like, yo, I gotta take you over to Sean Beeman crib. And I was like, who that? He like, yo, Sean Beeman is like the illest producer in the world, blah, blah. He just kept telling me about Sean Beeman. So eventually, we all 3 went over there. And that's when like shit started getting real. Anybody that's fuck with Sean Beeman knows like he'll bring the best out.
You can hear the progression.
Well, what I want to do is
when we met him and then afterwards, etc. It's amazing.
I want to actually get that music online on some format. Like you talking about like early demos of y'all too as well. Yeah. I want to figure out how to get that online. Even like if you know Puerto Rican Mike that was with Total Package, you know Sean Beeman was the producer that we had at Total Package. We trying to get on eBay and trying to find those old ADATs and those 8-track DATs so we can get that old music and get that up online. So we want to get all of that up online.
Yeah, it's like even when it comes down to the voice changing, like there was a probably maybe 6 to 8 year stint with me and Nerve weren't around each other because we're stubborn jerks and we just weren't talking to each other. But the point is like around that time I became the super big Bomm Sheltuh fan because it's a story of like these 2 teenagers that could have been anything. As we see in Fayetteville, you can be a lawyer or the best gang member. The blood's got the, you know what I mean?
Were y'all best friends?
Nah. I mean, I'm talking about we grew into it. The hip hop is what we ended up, you know what I mean, getting in. I remember I showed it to that dude's house, middle America, like the suburbs, Malcolm X shirt with the Malcolm X hat. I looked like I was super militant, like just, they wouldn't let me pass the doorstep. I'd be like, brother, you know what this doorstep is made out of? You know what I'm saying? So I look like that, so I could just see. But after a while, it really took like Mark. I understand on a grown man stuff, but like Mark was just like, yeah, this is successful. Well, not successful. Like, yeah, this is really cool, but I'm gonna go be an adult now. You know what I'm saying? Like, what? Mark, he kind of broke off from doing the music, and so me and B kind of we turned into more of a duo. And I'll be honest with you, like Mark was the star. Mark was his name was
the spitter.
The hit man.
He was like Inspector Deck.
Yeah, the hit man. And so when Mark left, it was like what you ever heard with that LaBelle's group or the motherfucking what's her name? Oh my God, we all know Diana Ross. What was that group?
Supreme.
Yeah, it's like right when Diana Ross left, they just sit there like, shit. So you know what I'm saying?
So, you know Malik Cruz.
Of course.
Is that who you talking about?
What?
Because when I
no, that's not Snipes.
I know he was definitely around back.
Oh yeah.
I want to say when I met Sean, he was in a group with Malik Cruz. That's what one.
Oh no, yeah. Like Sean, from what I hear, he was like my favorite out of the Bunch Road folklore is my man P Street Heem, and P Street Heem is like the one that actually taught Sean Beeman what he knows, and just the most. We're talking about you had the only way you could track him down through Frank D. Off the bunch, but it's like P Street Heem got the whole Sean origin story.
So see, in my head, and like y'all telling me the story, like I want you to tell me all of this because this is a crazy story. But I wouldn't even think that nobody gave Sean Beeman the game because prior to that, I mean, who was doing that? Like besides Pete Rock, and this is early in the game of hip hop.
It was a Star Wars moment where he was like, "I want you to beat Palpatine." You know what I'm saying? Like, oh my God, there's somebody more. You know what I mean? That's when I met P Street Heem, and he's so humble, man. Like he's ridiculously like a great guy, humble. And
what is this like 92?
Yeah, see, Sean. I don't know the years.
That would have been 92.
Yeah, but it's like
91, 92.
It's the dude like Sean's rap partner Quinn. He basically was like, yo, P Street. He said that's the dude that put. He said that's the Godfather. That's the one that put him on. Come to find out, he was the one that taught Sean the art of all the shit that we know to be.
So,
Sean.
how was it with you finally getting your group together? Like, I know you said you had like several different names.
Yep. So at the time, it was right when we got to high school. I went to Westover with Snipes, and he went to E. Smith. And
Go to Boots, okay.
I remember I was actually in shop class, and I was just like, yo, you ain't been coming around in a while. You ain't been like coming to practice or rehearse or none of that stuff. And he was just like, yeah, about that.
Yeah, that's Mark all day. Like you want to sit down for this.
So he basically just laid it on me like, he wasn't trying to do music no more. So I remember going home and calling him on the phone, being like, yo.
Like, man, shit, that's crazy what happened with Mark, yo. Well, I'm here. You know what I'm saying?
So, yeah, at that point, we became a duo. And we were still rocking the name Necessary Roughness until Hurricane Fran came along.
And we counted all them syllables. We were like, necessary. Oh, god damn.
But now, this is exclusive for your interview and your podcast.
Talk show.
This is exclusive.
Yeah.
Not a lot of people know this, but Hurricane Fran came, and if you was around at that time, Hurricane Fran came, and laid a lot of stuff down in Fayetteville. But we was, I had the crib to myself at that time. My parents had left, and I was like renting my house from my parents. That's where the Bomm Sheltuh was at. And we was outside just watching the weather roll in, and then we went into the shed in the carport to smoke a blunt. It was me, him, and my brother, right? And we
pulled out syringes, and y'all were like, acting all baby-like, and I
sniffed a line of coke and was like, yo. But now we was in there, we was smoking a blunt, and we was just like, damn, it looked like we in a bomb shelter, like inside the shed. And we was like, Bomm Sheltuh.
And I was like, yo, you know what I'm saying?
Bomm Sheltuh's a dope name. And I was like, Bomm Sheltuh. I was like, damn, this shit do kind of fit like the military town, Fayettenam.
Weird thing is, you were the one that really knew it. Like you said it, but I seconded it. But you were like, yo, that would be a dope ass name for a group. And I was like, Hurricane Fran? I don't know.
So yeah, anyway, that's how the name Bomm Sheltuh came about. And ever since then, it was just me and him as Bomm Sheltuh. Snipes ended up moving in with me, so it was me and him in the house. And together, me and him bought an ASR 10. And the reason we got that is because that's what Sean Beeman used.
And I suck at paying on stuff because I'm immature and I need to learn how to fucking save my money. But other than that,
yeah,
pretty much.
So yeah, we bought that together, and we was like roommates, and we was just sitting over there like learning how to make beats. You know what I'm saying? And we was doing that shit for years, like just mastering our craft, if you will. Like I was becoming Nervous Wreck, the producer and the MC, and then Filthy was coming over, and we were just collabing and just making magical shit. And Snipes was there for all of that, but he wasn't a part of the group anymore. So that was also dope. You know what I'm saying?
Like that one dude from Nerd that you never hear, but you always see him in all the.
Right. And shit. Where do we go from there?
We were doing the typical teenager stuff, and so by that time, I figured I would go ahead and have me a relationship. So my point is, we was all like, we had this thing where we was gonna be kind of all together, and I get with this girl, and she's like, I don't know, I mean, what y'all gonna split a PlayStation? And when she said that, I was like, yeah, you right. Yeah, you right. So basically, I ended up being up the street from Nervous, which it kind of works for me and him, but what would happen is, when we get around each other, it was such a vibe, man. And I mean, I don't know if he ever noticed it, but I would just notice that other people would notice it. Cause like when we are, when we're around each other, like you see all these 6 degrees of separation situations with different, folks or whatnot. Like even shout out to FEB when my homeboy was saying, man, if you close your eyes, you can't tell which one is which. But that's just a shout out joke. But real rap, that was the first time we ever had a feeling that we was actually, well, my moment was when we started getting this fan, and this fan would this is before pre-social media days or whatever, so it's like this fan of ours would hit us up online, on the email and stuff like that with Nervous, and was basically constantly checking for us, and you keep hearing his name, or I would hear his name, because at that time I'm coming into my own, so I'm like, so we're like, honestly, I always liken it to two things. We're Mobb Deep meets Outkast, you know what I mean? And it's a thing where he was telling me at this time, this is Filthy, he's like, yo, you got a fan out here, yo. I mean, a real fan. Like, this motherfucker, he said he he'd been there, but bought this from a, and got your poster, our poster, all that shit up on the wall. And his name was Blazer. And when I met Blazer, and Blazer was so enamored with even being able to meet me, I was like, I'm sitting there like, yo, have you talk to my girl or anybody that's ever been through school, be like, you ain't got to respect me this much. I'll just take anything. But he used to say this phrase to me to let me know it was real. He'd be like, man, thanks. That means a lot coming from you. And I'm sitting there like, what the hell is he talking? Me? And real rap is all, and honestly, that was because B might have had his earlier, but that was my moment where I was like, yo, I'll stab a baby in the neck for this shit, right? You know what I'm saying? I just really, right then and there, because I never had my voice heard. And I never knew that anybody was listening to something I say. Like, anybody that knows me knows I can't stand my verse from I Heard That. Because only right around then was I was kind of just phoning it in, because I call phoning it in dick, flip, tip, shit like that. And when I heard that boy was like, basically, he could recite my rhymes to me or tell me like, yo, and the one is he talks like this to this day. He'd be like, and the one joint, like where you sat there, you said, yada yada, and he will have something that you've said or done in this weird file cabinet. And we're gonna get to who Blazer is later, but it's like this dude he was a fan, and when I realized I had fans, that's when I took every line serious.
The props that come from him seeing, it will change you, yo.
Mm-hmm. So when did Nervous? When did you know that other people were actually relating to you?
See, what Nervous went through is stop talking for. I'm sorry.
Shit.
Y'all
I think people obviously pay attention to me off the rip anyway because I'm a Caucasian male. So. At the time in hip hop, we definitely had,
That bitch got LL on you right now, Jeremy. See him?
Let me sink in. But it's because of the obvious reason. People pay attention to me more, not more, but just
damn near, yeah.
Yeah, they just be like, well, damn, I wasn't expecting that from him. You know what I'm saying?
Because this is pre-Eminem. You know what I mean? Like before Eminem came along, it was only Search. or maybe one or two other, Caucasian MCs. And so, and the ill part is they just gotta be enough cool with themselves, and that's what B brought. Like B never really looked at it like to that extent because he was just being himself, but it was this weird fine line. You know what I'm talking about, Jerm, where it's like a Caucasian MC got to come in and really walk that line. And B just, I mean, if you really were in the culture, which B was, it just comes out naturally. Nowadays, you got the Malibu's Most Wanted types and stuff like that, but like, nah, so, but the illest part was every time he would get started rapping, it's so irritating because you want somebody to hear the white dude that you know that can rap, but all you get, go white boy for like 30 minutes while he's rapping. Like, man, why did we even spend time on each line? But yeah, that was the thing, is like, but when people finally shut up and heard B, that's when it got real. I'm talking about as far as like, I'm sorry, because I did steal your thunder on
Nah, I mean,
but
yeah, I appreciate it.
That really.
And I think for me personally, I started getting a reaction from like my peers, like Germ and him and Bob, and you know what I mean, cats that was in our camp. Like if I'm over there making beats or whatever, and they come around, they're like, woo, killing shit, and I start be like, oh yeah, I'm wanting some shit right now. You know what I'm saying? Like,
which is the difference, because some people just nod their head, but you would see it in people's faces. Yeah. One phrase I'm used to hearing from either the Germ or you name it, people will always say this. I know they said to you, like, yo, man, just don't forget me, man. You know what I'm saying? Like,
nah,
yo, man.
You definitely get those too, you know what I'm saying? But I don't know. I think that's...
He started beasting on the beats, and that my favorite one, and Germ knows this one. Remember when the day Stand Clear came out? Oh. When he showed up to your house like, yo, come here, just sit down. It was like a trap and shit. Like, I don't know, my mom's coming to pick me up. No, just come here, sit down. And you sit down in that car, close that door, and that motherfucker be like, yo. Push the button. And again,
play on the cassette tape.
What? And you would sit there and be like, damn, yo, fuck you. Because when he did this beat called Stand Clear, it was right before Wild America. And man, there were just two joints where you could just, of course we're biased. We're in the group, or we're, in the surroundings or whatnot. But like, no, when you heard it, you're like, yo, I could hear this famous person or that famous person, rhyming on this. And it would sound legitimate. And that's what it really, and again, the way that that Blazer basically took after the stuff, like Blazer was kind of like that ear on the street that we didn't have at first. Well, Germ, but like he was the younger generation. Like we just didn't know that the younger generation would even get us. And basically Blazer was a sign that they would not only get us, they damn near follow us into a pit of fire. You know what I mean? So we took that really serious. And this dude started beasting on he would, and this is something, shout out to Sean, where he would basically spend like a week on a snare. You remember coming to the house and B's working on, oh god damn, you coming there, it's that same snare.
To follow up on that, like that's definitely one thing that they'll tell you about me, is that I've always been about the quality of the music, and like I always wanted it to sound like it's some shit that you would hear that's out, like Redman or Wu or whatever, Eric Sermon, Dre, like cats I look up to. I'll be like you said, I'll spend sometimes days on making sure a snare sounded perfect, you know what I'm saying? And this is, of course, back when you was loading up at that point discs and shit like that. It wasn't just no drag and drop a wave or MP3. Like this was like loading up 5 discs for one beat type shit. You know what I'm saying? On the ASR, the MPC 2000, which I also use. But like that's one thing about me. I always wanted my shit to sound amazing, and I wanted even, you know what I mean, like when it was time for people to see us and hear us, I wanted it to be of a professional quality. So we never had like a burned CD that we pass out. It had to be like a real manufactured CD. It had to be like real posters. It had to be real stickers. Like, and that's how we got known in our city, was from doing our sticker campaign.
Yeah, that was my next question.
It's like, okay, so how we started getting known in the city is like, of course, we do like, we around ciphers and stuff, people know who we are. But people that weren't, in the music scene started hearing about us because we had pressed up some CDs. That's a whole nother crazy story. But along with that package came some stickers and some posters. So we would go out at night, 2 carloads full of cats, and just bomb the stickers all over the city. I'm talking about like every stop sign, every pole in front of Walmart, on the front of the window of the mall, on every door, you know what I'm saying? Every phone booth, like we'll spend hours. We go out at like midnight and come in at like 4 or 5 in the morning for, you know, days at a time doing this shit. And then it was like slowly over time, people like, yo, I saw your sticker, I saw y'all, and we was like, oh shit, it's working. Like, this the shit you had to do pre-internet and pre-social media, which
and
is
this was
internet.
just y'all 3?
No, this was just us 2, Bomm Sheltuh. But like I'm saying, at the time we had a team, and our crew was called the Crash Unit, and it was like other MCs and producers. Eventually, we'll go on and be called All Terrain Music, but our core crew was called Crash Unit. Shout out to Zion, aka Cannon, Darnell. Who else am I missing out?
Shit.
Crash Unit.
Kitty Kid, fucking Kelby,
Kelby, Kenny Ken,
Kelly Baber,
yep.
who did us the logo, which the logo is what
epic.
But I think it honestly because
he drew it after what's his face?
Calvin, right?
No. Calvin drew that?
Calvin from Kenny Ken in there, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I thought it was old boy that passed away.
Well,
it was him. Yeah,
he drew he drew up some joints. That's the one where it looked like we're pulling somebody out. Not the one that's
he did the concepts.
But he did exactly. He did the concepts. But the actual logo is kind of perfected. It went from Stephon Carter to freaking shout out Aaron Allen just for the fuck of it. But it went from Stephon Carter to freaking Calvin. Calvion to
Kelly Baber.
And Kelly Baber.
And Kelly Baber's been like Bomm Sheltuh's art guy for the longest. So this is another thing too. Like back in the day, it's not as easy as it is nowadays to access somebody that can draw or design. Like, you know what I'm saying? This is shit that wasn't easily accessible. So like we had a homeboy that was in the crew that was a drawer, an artist and a designer. And he would always have our shit looking super fly.
Is that who drew the cartoon cover?
He drew the cartoon cover, the Bomm Sheltuh album. He did the Fayettenam Bombers cover. He vectorized and made the logo look dope. You know what I mean? Every time after the main sticker campaign, we'd have little stickers that say Bomm Sheltuh with our font style and all that. That was all Kelly Baber. So shout out to Kelly Baber, who we still work with to this day.
The logo is epic. It's up there with like the hieroglyphics logo or the Wu logo. It's epic, yo.
It was the thing of like one thing I noticed because I was just it was a lot of skater camps and whatnot. I would be going in betwixt and I was just noticing like the one thing that I liked mostly about Public Enemy was the fucking logo. You know what I mean? Like I would have followed Chuck D into a bank robbery gone bad. It just because just off of the logo, like yo, the fucking I love that shit. And so I always wanted, and I think as a hip hop fans, you always wanted like a dope ass logo.
I mean, yeah, especially in that era, like you wasn't a rapper unless you had a logo. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And my favorite sign that I've ever seen was the radioactivity sign. It was just like my favorite. I don't know what it. Just growing up, I always just loved that little weird circle. But it's like the ill way that they it's so self-explanatory. It's ridiculous, right? Like kind of lobs itself up by the basket. So that right there, I just knew was going to be something to at least. It was always about grabbing the attention, and then if I can get you fooled by the attention grabber, I can get you to listen. And if you listen, you mine. You know what I mean? And that's it. That's what we worked so hard on. Like no matter what, one of the things we took out was like, well, I think we got it from Large Professor, where he was talking about, I think it was an article. We were just super rap nerds. So if somebody said to do something, we're talking about down to the Art of Rap joint that the KRS-One dropped, where we taking notes out of there, where he was talking about how you dress on stage and shit like that. So we're like, okay, well, light clothing, okay, all right, you know what I mean? So one of the things that I think happened right around then was I got to be more careful. What was the one I named before KRS? Crap. Either way, the point is, it'll hit me later. I'll just interrupt somebody's convo. Huh? Oh, the most important part. The large professor had said in some interview, he was like, yo, people be dating they shit by saying like, yo, out here every year, yada, 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 yo, out here, yo, 96 and we still getting sick and shit like that. So we just made it a point that just to be on the safe side, to just never drop the name of years and stuff. And that's when we started to come up with the concept. Mind you, at the same time, we're still taking on new recruits with Blazer and other folks. And we're starting to come up with this timeless music type of vibe where I always wanted it to be like it was encapsulated in a bomb shelter. If you're in a bomb shelter, you got only the necessities, only the things that you need, the non-perishable items. So I was like, I wanted to always have music that somebody in 30 years from now can listen to, and it'll actually resonate. And the irony is, there's a song like Junkie, whatever, eat a dick, y'all, whoever's joking right now. But there's a song called Junkie where B's verse like depicts my entire fucking life, like the last few, I would say almost 10 years of my life. You know what I mean? And it's crazy because that was a testimony to what we had embellished on, just to try to constantly make stuff that people, if you're not going to get it right now, you know what I mean, later on down the line, you'll get it and it still have that new car smell on it. So, you know, that's pretty much the beginnings of how it starts when we did the album Food, Clothing, Shelter.
But I just want everybody to understand, like, Bomm Sheltuh was called Bomm Sheltuh, and it literally was like my house was called the shelter, and like it was literally us and our crew over there for like,
and we housed
years.
Homeless people.
It was like years we was over there like working. It wasn't no like, you know, nowadays you can go in and make a song and upload it and the world can hear it instantly. You know what I'm saying? Like, this was over there, we like honing our craft, making shit dope, and then fucking saving up money to try to get CDs pressed and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, shit took a lot of time back then. You know what I'm saying? So I'm talking about like when we first became Bomm Sheltuh in like 93, and then throughout, we both graduated in 95. Our first project didn't even come out until like 99. You know what I'm saying? So this is like 4 years of like cats just sitting over there like working on shit, getting doper and doper. Like, of course, we're making demos and like letting people hear it and do shows and shit like that, but it was like years before our first project ever even came out.
And that's that progression I was telling you. You can as a musical fan, you can hear it. Well, I'll let you hear the joints. You can hear the progression, just young, and I'm always amazed by it because before, you know, he made it, I've been such a fan of what the group actually did. We were young kids that said, man, we want to be a part of that. How do we do it? And we just figured it out some way, somehow, to like, this is the rapport that we get nowadays is kind of what I always wanted. Like, I always wanted the recognition for like being dope, for being whatever you want to call it, unequivocally dope,
unapologetically.
Thank you. Unapologetically dope. We really set forth to do that. So the added pleasure comes with, you know, when Blazer turns into therapist. And then we have like damn near a team of 2 producers. Well, my God, I'm so sorry, Izzy. Izzy and anyway, yeah, we had Bob. That's just down by law, yeah, by law. But either way, it was definitely like, before you know it, we just had a plethora of things. I would liken it to like, you remember when Alchemist started working with Mobb Deep, and you were just like, oh shit, are you serious? Like, as if they needed help. You know what I'm saying? Like, they felt like that. Like, some of our best songs that y'all have yet to hear are just joints that we just put in the vault from all of those producers. I mean, like, you'll get an occasional piece of a leak or something from me, but most of the time, you notice with my posts, I purposely like have something super off in it, just to basically so you can. There's no way you can bootleg it, not unless you're insane.
So y'all have a lot of unreleased stuff from back then.
Yeah, we got albums.
That they were stuck in one room for 4 years. I can imagine what you guys got. I want to know, who are you all's top 3 artists?
My favorite rapper of all time is Prodigy of Mobb Deep. My second favorite rapper I would say is Nas. And my third would have to be KRS-One.
Good
list.
Yeah.
And those are some lyrical dope artists.
Yeah, I would have to go with I got 5. Just I mean, you take 2 out. Shit, damn it. But I go with Andre 3 Stacks. Well, I mean, if we're gonna go with the top one, Black Thought. Then we go Redman. Then we go Eminem, and then we go Andre 3 Stacks, but never to be forgotten Scarface.
I mean, if we go on 5, I'm definitely gonna put Ghostface as my number 4.
And see, this is what happened to me and B. It's now a competition. Just stand back, hold on.
All right, now I'm gonna let you win. I'm gonna let you have 5. I'll stay with 4.
Yeah, 4.
So I mean, yeah, that's top 3 and 4 and 5 rappers. You know what I'm saying? If you want to get into groups, I mean, shit, Wu, EPMD, Mobb Deep, Outkast. Who else? That's my top groups though.
That's how I look at it too. Yeah, pretty much. I always say Roots because that dude does that shit by himself. You know, just sitting out there with a cord mic. You know, joke. But yeah, I pretty much I agree.
The Roots is a dope setup, like, you know, how they got, you know, it's the instrumentalist, and then what's my man used to do the beatbox? Who? Rozelle, exactly. Yeah. And then, you know, with Questlove and all them. And then I always tell people too, we were talking the other day because we had a female artist, and then I always tell people in my top 3 female is Bahamadia, which is, you know, off that branch too.
Let's hear the top 3 females.
Hold on. Whispering as coming back with the
top 3 female rappers.
You know what though? I can see my point is just I talk a lot of shit, but I like the comedy in rap because I feel like nobody, you know, really tackles that, like with the type of shit that we would laugh about or really just we would get that joke because certain people would be like, why is he talking about, but you know how she just raps with it. But at the end of the day, like, I still respect that motherfucker.
That was crazy.
So it's just a lot of funny faux pas with the older MCs, like just certain things that wouldn't fly nowadays, just certain things that people get
back
away
then
with.
you had to be completely different. You had to have your logo had to be different. The way you was dressing had to be different. Your beats had to be different. So it's not like this. So, you know, it's very different.
And look, and Big Cass used to get studio time from us.
I did.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, when y'all get back to the female thing, but I did want to say that too as a side note. Whenever the shelter, my parents ended up selling the house, so I moved out of the house and moved the shelter downtown in the old Foxy. They just moved out of the building downtown on Hay Street. They moved to where they at now, or maybe they moved again, but they used to be right downtown on the corner. And we rented out that spot. And Kaz was the first cat that came through paying for studio time.
Word, that's dope, yo. That's dope.
That's a little bit of history for you. Big Kaz was the first cat. And it was only maybe the first of maybe 3 that came through before I ended up.
So that was like part 2 of the shelter.
Yeah, that was part 2. That was like the shelter .5, like half of the shelter. You know what I'm saying? Because it was just like a room.
Cass don't even remember coming through, man.
No, I remember that exact thing.
You told me to put the beer down, Cass, and I put the beer down.
I remember the exact thing because it was crazy for me for y'all to be in there because I was thinking, damn, this is like office space, like doesn't need to be soundproof. But it was dope what y'all was doing there, and I remember I didn't have enough bread to really get done what I needed. I needed to do like 6 songs. I mean, I tried to squeeze that. I don't know how many, but I tried to squeeze it out.
He was coming through there dropping songs fast as a motherfucker too. I was like, damn, he working quick as shit.
Had to.
He said, I'm here now. Put the beer down.
And you know, it was already soundproof when we came in there. That shit was up because it was Foxy 99 building.
That's dope.
Yeah, a lot of that stuff. That they left a lot of that. The spongy soundproof stuff.
And C. John Malzone gets the gas face. You see C. John Malzone still be renting out mad shit in Fayetteville, but he was responsible for renting out that building. And we told him we try to put a studio in there, and he shut that shit down. He was talking about the damn owners say, nah, they don't want a studio in here. We was like, bro, there's a radio station in here. Oh, they're trying to find like smaller businesses, blah, blah, blah. So me and Bob went behind his back, contacted the owners, and they was like, We didn't never say that. Y'all could rent it out. So he called back up. He was just like, yeah, I guess y'all could come on down. And he's like, yeah, motherfucker, you don't want to let us move in. We in this motherfucker. So yeah, that's how the shelter came about down there. Cat was hating. I don't know if he still got his office down there. You gotta get because you can't shout out the cat that was hating.
Yeah, he said he gets the gas face. Oh, but yeah.
Does that come a lot with Fayetteville?
Nah, I don't think it. I mean, honestly, cats hate, but he was one of them cats. I mean, he's a real estate agent, and I guess he was just thinking in his head like.
I'm saying more so like in the era with music.
Oh, you mean later on, Ebony came and jumped me and he robbed me. No, real rap. All jokes aside, I don't hold no heart because we were kids. We were I was 19, and it's just kid shit. But the funny thing is just how like interwoven into these stories.
Yeah, I never heard that the Maury dad rap.
Yeah, I never heard that. Abby was nasty.
I mean, I got a whole story I could tell on the Maury shit, but his name was Ebony.
What's the story?
Yeah, go ahead.
Shakira and fucking Ebony, them motherfuckers, man.
That shit is too long. I'll tell it another time.
Next time.
But Ed was the cat, like me coming straight from Germany. Like I said, I was DJing at the time. I'm the new kid. I went to Ann Chestnut Junior High, and I'm like fresh from Germany. I don't know anybody. And like this cat named John Smith, John, he was like my first friend at the school. You know what I'm saying? And me and him started, and he would come over to the house, and we playing records and shit like that.
They call him Method.
They call him Method Man back then. Well, not then, but later on in high school and shit. But he would always talk about his cousin, like, yo, my cousin Eb rapping. You know what I'm saying? My cousin Eb is about to be in Brand Nubian's video. And like I said, this is at the time when nobody rapped. This is why I want people to understand. Like, you can go in your school and there was literally no rappers. You know what I'm saying? Like, the whole school now raps. Back then, you see somebody rap, you're like, oh shit, this is a real rapper, yo. Like,
this is early in hip hop altogether, not just Fayettenam hip hop.
And do you get what I'm? That's the
right. But you know what I mean, though.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, this is 1990. You know what I'm saying? I'm just like I said, from Germany, and my homie's cousin raps, and I'm like, oh shit. So, anyway, he brought the tape in, and I was hearing this shit, I'm just listening like, yo, this is somebody that I know that got a fucking song out. You know what I'm saying? Like, any other time you hear shit is because you bought a tape or an album, or you saw somebody on MTV or whatever it was, you know what I'm saying? Just to see somebody that you know rap, that shit was crazy to me. You know what I'm saying? It was inspiring to me. Ebony was back then, you know what I'm saying? And like you said, years later, you know what I'm saying?
That's just street shit.
I mean, he had some street shit, and then his son blows up from Fayetteville.
You know I mean, the crazy.
Shout out to Maury. Shout
out Maury. The craziest thing, like I said, all that stuff is. I mean, for real, because I wouldn't want nobody sweating something I did when I was 19 or 20 or whatever. Like, nah, it was
completely different people.
Yeah, I just laugh at it. That whole irony is because I used to pack a pistol. And I was like, yo, B, because he had to go use the phone, right? And I had no phone.
Also, here's the data for you. I had a pager at the time. His phone was cut off, so I had to go to V Point, which is no longer there. Yeah. Use a payphone.
And so of course,
all this is dates for you.
Of course, he got to take Marcus with him. Like, we all know viewpoint, right? So it's like, here, take Marcus and this pistol right here, so and maybe you'll make it back.
You know what I'm saying? Like, shit.
Yeah, because so it was so crazy and I always look back at that because this ain't talking shit. I know me, like just being a coward. I would have been like, after what happened because. When they robbed me, punched me in my face, and I freaked out. I said, "Mom!" So when my mom come downstairs, I said, "Hey, bitch, go get an ass whooping for me." Like, but really, she went down there. I always think about that because my mom could have got served by somebody like, "Oh, word, you gonna bring your mom?" But real rap. If I would have had that gun on me though, I know that first hit would have been like, "Pow, pow, pow," and I can see me, and I'm not no jail dude. I'll probably just be getting out right now with lipstick like, so Bomm Sheltuh was made
out. Really on some alternate reality shit. Yeah. On some alternate reality shit. If I'd have never took his gun with me to the store that day, he could have possibly Call the charge.
And you know how that shit go. It ain't in Germany. There's always that one dude that's like, man, I didn't even mean to. I was sitting there. You know what I'm saying? So I always look at it like that was the weird way they were supposed to go. He ripped my lip something nice. Boy. But I look like a Simpson.
This man lip was hanging.
He would imagine you go to use the phone, you come back, and I'm sitting there looking like Marge Simpson. I don't know.
But he was rapping then?
Yeah, and so that's how he got up on me. Where when he comes up, I'm like, yo. And now mind you,
this is a part of the story I've never fucking understood. Listen, your phone was off. How the fuck did he know to come to your house?
Because of my 1 year older than me stepfather. That's right. Listen to the Los origin story later. All right. So I have a stepfather that's 1 year older than me, and he was friends with Chris Rock. Sterling. I'm really not mad at all about that shit. But Chris Rock, Sterling, and Eb, they knew Chris. They knew Chris. My stepfather. They knew Chris, and so they came through. Chris Rock was coming through to check out Chris, and they were like, I can guarantee this was the talk in the car. Yo, I know this stupid motherfucker got some weed and shit, yo. Trust me, you can rob him without a gun. It's nothing, man. Because when they came up, I damn near handed it to him. Here you go. It was hilarious. But either way,
the bill was a lot rougher there too.
What? And see what it was. The point of that story is I looked at him like a rapping brother because I'm looking like, yo, he raps with Sean Beeman, so he's technically like my cousin. We're like cool. I didn't know that didn't. See, that egg on my face.
Fuck your cousin.
Yeah. Mom ran up the stairs.
Got him.
Boy, my mama there put on. She was gonna rob my baby. Gonna run downstairs.
Almost got your mama beat up.
Boy, get the ham and cheese. Mom, watch it for his left.
I do have a question to ask you. Your style is very different.
There is a style here? I
It's
didn't
very
know.
different. I like that.
Yeah, now this is, this is shabby chic.
Shabby chic.
My homeboy said I look like a homeless businessman.
I think it's really dope. I like how it's up. You got your gloves on over here.
Yeah, you've been rocking them gloves since
he known for the gloves.
Oh, so that's okay. So come about with the gloves.
Tell the glove story.
Tell the story.
You ever seen it? Well, this here goes showing my age. I watched this movie called The Breakfast Club, and this dude named Judd Nelson had these cut off gloves. I just thought that was the coolest shit ever, and then I buried that way under, and I never told anyone, and I packed it deep. And then one time,
that's the first time I'm hearing that shit.
Yeah, we was in Atlanta, and they was like, "So, what's y'all image?" And I swear to God, I used to be like, "Come on, man, come on, man, it's a white dude." You know what I'm saying? Come on, man. And yeah, so after basically it really did come out like this, like, yo, being white ain't enough for you to have a deal. So I'm like, fuck, I hadn't thought any further into this thing. And so then I thought about it, and one thing I loved with Bomm Sheltuh, because I think it's what kept us creative, is like we love doing what wasn't cool. Or my personal favorite thing to do was to take something that's not looked at as cool and make it cool. And so what anybody wasn't doing is what I wanted to do. So I just thought about it one night, and I was like, you know what? I don't see nobody wear fingerless gloves. I was like, all right, fuck it. And then it hit me. I was like, well, I do remember one time, Eazy-E. And then other than that, I was like, I don't recall seeing nobody else. So I was like, okay, I'll go with the Eazy-E. Nobody wants to know about the Judd Nelson thing. And so I sat there and just cut the fingers off. And I started doing it so much that it turned into like, you know, when you're in your 20s, that's why people are conquerors and shit like that, because it's so much of an asshole that I was up here. I would never even try. I've gotten into arguments over these gloves at Golden Corral as my semi-brother-in-law, who's a pastor, is asking me to take off the gloves. I'm like, why? And so it's like, I went to a job interview. We're going to look over people. I was going to be like, working on top of, over a group home, and I wore gloves. Why? Still can't tell you why. The guy goes, hey, so I see the certifications that you obviously doctored up, but such. Then he goes, hey, so let me, and now I got
somebody coming through this. So
I got colored hair and everything, and I have the nerve to still wear, it's like I was trying to stack the bar high to not get the job, basically. So I had the gloves on. He goes, hey, let me ask you something. What's going on with the gloves? And I was like, if it's all the same to you, I'd just rather not. And he fell for that shit. Holy shit, he fell for it.
That was like a medical thing.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Yes, sir. I was like, oh. So, because when I said, I was like, why are you doing this? There's a part of me, I think I didn't want the job, you know what I mean? But at the same token, Benita done doctored me up. So now you gonna get your ass out here. You do have a diploma. Yes, you do. Get out of here, you know. And either way, I just started it. It's like, it's a weird security blanket thing for me now. Like, I wish I could tell you, like, yeah, I'll just not wear them all. I'll be very fidgety. You know what I'm saying? I don't know why. So, yeah, I kind of painted myself in the corner. I expected to be cool by now.
Yeah, it's cool.
So, no, not this. I expected to be cool by now. And, like, now I'm not. And I got the damn, I said, shit, man. So, but, yeah, so flowers, water in it. So, yeah, I don't know. I just, I really just, I really just like what everybody doesn't think is cool, because I feel like they're just gonna like it anyway. They always do that. They hate what they hate today, they love tomorrow. They do that all. I swear to you, if I knew that about hip hop, because I thought about the Troop thing with the shoes, I really looked at that when it happened. Troop had told, people had started a rumor that Troop was racist and they were from the Klan and all that. And I watched how everybody stopped wearing them dope ass shoes. I really got upset. Like, yo, are you serious? I mean, like, how racist?
They're too young for that.
Y'all never seen Troops?
I remember the Troop suits, like
Shoot, oh my God, that's what I mean. The crazy arrow shit. Yeah. But yeah, but my point is,
that was British Knights, I think.
Nah, the Troop did. Yeah, Troop. Man, God, and it was just, to me, I saw how powerful hip hop was. Like I told you, one day there was a bully, Pookie. Shout out Robert Leach. You know you are. I got love for you because you helped create Filthy. I was rapping in a cypher, and I swear to God, it was like religiously every day this person would find a way to punch me in my stomach. So I'm just waiting on, like, oh, here comes Biff. All right, you know. But I was like, I was in the middle of a freestyle, so I was like, such a like NBA jams. I was like, back to Nerdlos. You know what I'm saying? But when the dude walks by, he's like, all right, buddy, shit. And I was like, I'm gonna rap forever. Because that way the bullies won't. You see me all like at board meetings and shit, just always rapping. Just to and so, yeah, just to make sure. But really, I just thought like, and that's the thing about me. A lot of my moves back then were just so survival driven. Like once I learned that Filthy meant something to somebody, ergo when I say Blazer, I'm talking about Therapist, or I'm talking about J. Cole.
Bomm Sheltuh. Just the best group to come out of Fayetteville, man. These dudes is legends. So I just used to hit these dudes up every day. They never responded to me. They thought I was trying to hack their computer. They didn't know how to use AOL. But one day he finally hit me back, told me they was doing a show at the skate zone. They had a little section in their show where they let people come up and rhyme from the crowd. And at 14 years old, at a show with nothing but like 20, 21-year-olds, 24-year-olds, I'm 5'7", squeaky voice. I hopped up on the stage and murdered. And ain't nobody expect that. So after that, they let me start coming through to their studio. And then from there, I saw, man, he had an MPC, he had a 4-track recorder. Once I saw he had a beat machine, I begged my mom every day for a beat machine. Every day for like a year and a half. And when I was 15, she made it happen. And she got this thing right here. It's my very first beat machine. Now, I know y'all use Fruity Loops. I'm on Logic. Some of y'all use Ableton. Nobody's using analog things anymore, but this was the first thing. In like the year 2000. It's a sampler, it don't come with barely no sounds, and I had to figure out how to use this, and that's when I started making my own beats, writing my own songs. It all started on this machine right here. So
you dig what I'm saying? Like when Blazer tells me like, man, that means a lot coming from you, I felt the need to be this character and like not let it down. So I didn't want to change anything but keep evolving this character that I made. And now, in my 40s, I painted myself into a corner with this character I've made, where it's like it doesn't get out of you. You know, as they say, no gimmicks. Like I live this. Like no, I live this. I can't help it. Jerry would tell you, I went to a wedding with this. I went to a wedding with a tank top, these gloves, and a like why can't I be the best man, Mark? Oh wow, Snipes! Wow.
If you didn't show up as filthy, they wouldn't.
Yo, it was just.
You ain't never gonna forget that.
Yeah, but the thing was, it wasn't even designed. My mindset was not like, yo, I'm gonna make everybody. I was like, let me get dressed for the wedding. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, it was like, got it. Let me go. And so yeah, I remember I got there, Mark's parents. Everybody, hey, all right, you can sit over there.
Wait, way over there now?
Yeah, just over there. Just right outside. Yeah, right behind that door. But yeah, it's just a thing. I do it honestly because of 3 Stacks. I keep it going because I feel like, as weird as it is, this is my own little. Cause my mom's a party girl, so this is my own little George Clinton, you know what I mean, thing where. You know, you know that you've been around, you know, me because I have a certain style. And the weirdness is, if you knew my mom, now I look back at all the weird shit she used to wear, I'm like, oh, son of a bitch. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm the 2000 version of Joy Brown, where she used to have a bunch of bags and weird. She was like an estranged member of Aerosmith. She had a bunch of fucking scarves and shit for no reason, you know, with some jogging pants and a cup of ice.
Some ice.
Some ice. I can't even do that noise, stuck in the teeth. But yeah, a Bomm Sheltuh to me, it just stands for something like it's to me it's North Carolina's, it's Fayetteville, its own little, like the way little brother did, and we never tried to bite them or nothing like that. But it's like I'm so a fan of the way how they did it. It's a thing of like Raleigh and Durham can always rest their hat on like we made a substantial contribution to this game. And see, at first, Bomm Sheltuh definitely got it up there by the rim. You know what I mean? It rolled on the rim, and then it fell like that. And then this light-skinned motherfucker came and dunked it, and now we got J. Cole. You know what I mean? And that's honestly how it feels to me. Whenever I look at it as an MC, of course I'm envious of the crowds and whatnot, but it's like, nah, dog, like, he's you. He's him. We amalgamated all of these experiences, and he was such a sponge that I can guarantee you if he was anywhere around you or anything you've done, it just sponges into him like a robot, like in a very attentive robot that just really takes all the good, whatever
it's dope to me though, because the person that finished it off and got it done, it's also that original Fayettenam sound, like that ASRX sound.
You giving them, yo,
the real lyrics over it, you know, it's dope. And that's due to y'all, man. And
it's crazy because, of course, the weirdness is, of course, when you say it, you don't want to sound, because that dude he paved his own way, he did his own, you know what I mean? But to know that you had a part in some shit that we all believe in, we all, like, to this day, I still want to meet Crazy Drazy, even though nowadays there's somebody like, oh, bitch, they're going to Dre outside with his iggity ass. Tell him to go on some damn way. You know what I mean? Like, I still want to meet these characters. They were like a real folklore. And I feel like slowly but surely, we kind of just kept nudging Fayettenam until Fayettenam was like, all right, I get it. Y'all are kind of cool. Because they definitely, I have a friend of mine, rest in peace, Tavares, that was in a different group. And he told me, like, boy, we used to rip y'all shits out the wall every time we see them shits. And they was like, you and that white boy, we yanked that shit off. And so many times I was about to get banked. Like, yo, I'm telling you that. But I love it because our goal was to do that thing that I think all of us, like say backpacker types, we know it's like we just want to make you do like this and like, oh, it's so dope, though. Fuck.
Pickle juice face.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, it's just like we enjoyed, after we figured out our escape routes and learned how to start the car in one good turn, we enjoyed going up there like, oh, that's you. Oh, that's cool. Oh, that's nice. That's nice. Our turn? All right, we'll be. Hey, could y'all shut the lights down? And all of a sudden we got shit. Like, and I would just go into again, it's that nerd that's always getting beat up, and now they're not even beating up on, they're cheering for me. So it's like a lot of times, I still deal with this to this day. It's like I could be a megalomaniac, but it's because of, it's like coming from a powerless situation to like them dudes used to run for me to get on the bus. I was that nerd. I was
that's why I say like, the props that come from MCing will change you, because I remember like me linking up with sweepstakes and that summer, like going from just just Ronald the fat, little lame kid, to Big Cass, the rapper, with, one of the most lit cats.
Yeah.
I mean, it'll change. It's the props, yo.
And can you tell the people the difference between being an MC and a rapper?
Oh, man. That's the easiest one ever. They stop listening to me when I say that. The whole thing is, it's just as simple. MC, move the crowd, master of ceremony, and then you got rapper. Yeah, you say rap. Fucking Blondie from, what's her name? Such hair, Deborah Harry. She was a rapper. Everybody can rap. It's like, I feel like you start off rapping, and we're East Coast influenced, definitely. And I wouldn't say this not on the West Coast, but I'm just saying one thing I can speak for it being East Coast influence and just knowing where the Mecca is. And you look at it like a rite of passage. Mine, of course, like I told y'all, is when who y'all look at J. Cole, but I looked at it as like this little dude, Blazer. Look at him. I don't even say what. Wow. It was him. Look at another black man. Real rap. It was another black man, a younger version of a black man, looking at me who at the time I don't know what it's like to be a man. I wish to figure it out. And he's looking at me like I got it figured out. It was a feeling of like, damn, I'm special.
Not even like a mentor, but like a hero almost.
Yeah, and that's how I'm looking at it because of that troop thing that I'll tell you. I'm like, I'm one of the wielders of that power. Like, holy shit. Oh, okay. And so a lot of times, like, me and Jerry will get into it about our past. He'd be like, you was arrogant or whatever. I'm like, nigga, I was D'ing up everybody and like, Pooh, get that shit out of here. And I had to go home and I'm sitting there slapping shit out the kids' hands like, you don't want none, nigga. So it's like, I take it so far, but it's because I came from not the material items. I was always the brokest middle class kid. And that's a hellacious place to be. My parents on drugs, so you live in a middle class neighborhood, but your lights ain't on. You know what I'm saying? Like, but real rap, it's that power, man. Like, B probably had a better defined appreciation for it. I was so hooked on the one story real quick. Keith Murray. We're at where was we at? I forget, fucking Greensboro something.
Charlotte or Greensboro.
Keith Murray comes in. He has the Tupac tied bandana. He has on the short jeans, short overalls. Boy, we used to rock some gay shit. But the jeans, short overalls, and basically he comes in, right, when he comes in the door, he doesn't say nothing to us. He probably dusty, looking forward and shit. He goes, yo, such with the such. And then, they're talking. So he grabs up this cup, this red Solo cup. Y'all are witnessing the birth of Filthy Red. He grabs up the red Solo cup. He poured something in it, and they were like, man, threw it on the carpet. Right as that juice said, on the carpet, I want to rap for the rest of my life. Like, it was just, and he sat there right at the thing, goes, yo, Reggie at the bunch. Oh, man, was such and such. And that whole time, whether he knows, I was just sitting there like, oh my God, that was the coolest shit ever. And like, because remember, I was slow. I would, right after that, mess that moment up by offering Redman a dick of a cigar. No, it was a cigar. And some people that I know smoke joints, they'd be like, man, it's a dick, man. That motherfucker, like, but they weren't saying it on no. Man, I said that shit all wrong in front of Red, my favorite rapper.
At the end of the day, that was a horrible trend that lasted a couple months where y'all used to call blunts dicks. That was horrible. I never called it that. But you had to pull that out in front of Redman. It was like, yo, I got these 2 dicks. And they was in the fucking, they was like,
nah, that's not good. That's not good.
You know when you hear the record scratch?
DJ Twins was like, yo, what the fuck? Who's smoking dicks?
Yo,
hey, who was there?
Yo, it was like just, I was so excited.
He was excited
dicks. And then everybody like, and I dumped.
And at that moment, you never became cool.
I dumped out. I had Newports and the dick, and it was all on the floor. So not only did I have to deal with that, I had to go. No, grab these cigarettes.
I gotta pick it up.
Try and put this one back up. Excuse me. Hey, DJ Twin, lift your foot. Thank you. All right. And then,
it's like the backstage cleared out.
That could have been your moment, man. Smoke a blunt with Reggie Noble and then.
Oh no, we definitely smoked some blunts with Reggie Noble and Method Man and Keith. We smoked with all the cats.
Method Man, that dude, he talked poor Darnell and me to death that night. Boy, we was like, all right, somebody from the woo, hey, sorry, Jesus Christ. But it was, it was the funnest thing about those moments was you got a chance to see how human your favorite rappers were.
And that's why Method is still around, because he
was human.
Was personable.
You know what I mean? Like, he had just got the spider tat, or so he said 30 fucking times. And either way, he was just like, yeah, man, and blah. But the weirdness was, we're from the era, and there is a weird divide too. We're from the era where Guru from Gangstar was on the album like, yo, if you see me, just give me some dap and just keep it moving. You know what I mean? So we're thinking, like, once you start talking, it's like, why are you messing up the polarity? What are you doing here? Like, I don't know, man. Shit, I don't know. It really just was I love how the I guess social media age at least brings those types of situations closer. It's just that even now it's getting kind of policed, you know what I mean, where people can't. One of the best things about hip hop in the early era was just that you're meeting people from a secret society. Y'all know this and y'all know that about this situation. Other people ain't up on it. And damn near rapping was like spitting pig Latin in front of people. It was such a great feeling. And when you saw how good the person was because nobody was getting paid from it like that, that's how you knew how serious they felt about it. Like again, you would hear the people we talk about, Shakir and all them cats, and it would be so amazing just the amount of work. Like, there's motherfuckers right now that would give Nas a run for his money, just based upon, being raised by Nas, ironically. So it's just, I think the dopest thing about hip hop now is that people like Nerve or anybody with kids, don't make me cry, can like actually connect with their kids with the shit. That's what my homeboy did a cellular rap. Kitty Kid did a cellular rap for his daughter, and his daughter, I guess, got a lot of acclaim for it. Like, he ended up having to go to school and say it for her or some shit like that. And that's, honestly, as they say, that's why I got in the game, baby. Like, that's what I wanted, just that weird connection that other people can't intrude in. So I feel like now, when it's getting down to like, we're about to civil war ourselves again, where we don't need to do that. We had the one thing that can kind of bridge these gaps, and we're doing the thing that the old folks used to do to us. Like, yeah, those are skinny pants. Jesus Christ, how did you get those on? Did you lay on the bed and go back? At the end of the day, that's y'all shit. If that's y'all shit, because we had, I seen a joint with therapists online. It looked like he was being eaten by the sweater he was inside of. So we had the thing where we wore shit too big. So I feel like as long as we just respect that it's not supposed to make sense to us, some of the shit that's going on right now is not supposed to make sense to me. It's their shit. Our shit is what it is. And now, since we got that very, very fucking valuable internet and all the things that go along with it, it's like kindly trying to tell people in a nice way, like blowing a conch shell, like, look, all the older MCs, come on back. You know what I mean? Just now you don't gotta bet the house or nothing on it. Now you could do this in your man cave, and it's the same feeling. That same feeling you used to get from making dope shit. I still remember the last line John fucking Meth said, "Good night." On the one joint. Yeah, with Ebb and shit. Now, at the end of the day, man, if cats that are my age kind of go back, this is our Madden. This is our, our thing. And if we can kind of just get the old way of looking at shit out of our head and just realize now it is up to you. If you're dope, all you have to do is that. The one thing I don't think they focus in on is the part in between. Like, say, for instance, I got on my Instagram account, I don't know the stuff that B knows about business on it, but it kills me because it's a thing where when you have a business, you kind of boost it and all of that. I don't understand that, you know what I mean? But I feel like that's the only part that our generation is missing. Because we're thinking, yeah, I just uploaded it on Facebook yesterday. Why ain't everybody taking off with it? You know what I'm saying? It's a thing where, like, no, Ronnie C., one of the gatekeepers, used to basically, like, he would beef your shit up, you know what I mean, if you fuck with him, but I don't know what he was doing. Now I'm getting the idea of what he was doing. Not like it was dastardly either. He was playing ball the correct way. He was going on Facebook Creator and doing however you do it on there. But basically, these people have made a way where you're going to have to pay for this, for them kind of blowing you up or helping you blow your shit up or what have you. There's no way to get around it, but if you do it, based upon what B was saying, when you said, like, it's a certain amount for like a week of advertising, like $2,000 or something like that.
Well, you can
Just
budget,
money, right?
You can set your own budget. It's
Right.
$5 a day, so it's like anybody can do it. You can do the same thing the record labels did 20 years ago, but you can do it yourself now.
Yeah, and see, that's the thing.
The social media is the labels these days.
United,
everybody's signed.
Yeah,
Well,
United
that's
Masters.
That's what we plan to do with this. Like when we finally get this popping, we literally gonna have like classes where we teach, because you know on Instagram, Instagram is like a booking agent and all of that. Like
you fuck with Champ, don't you?
Yeah, Big Champ the boss.
Okay, so
we about to do some crypto classes with him.
Yeah, I be sitting there bumping that shit. It's like I try to promote anybody that's doing anything because I don't know what you might have that somebody else might see on my shit that'll basically help you out. That's why I'm like, when people are seeing me do that, I really am trying to start a trend of just screenshot somebody's shit. Just bump it. It don't matter if you think that your crowd will like it. Just see who in your crowd will fuck with it. Just use it as a commercial.
We all gonna do that in Fayettenam. Everybody start sharing everybody's stuff and boost everybody up. So at least if nothing else, everybody know about everybody else, and we all becoming fans of each other here in the Ville and starting from there.
Word up.
So now, what keeps you motivated?
To do what specifically?
To keep going with your music.
Honestly, I lost the motivation years ago because we had been. I mean, when me and Filthy, when the group ended, when I moved out of Fayetteville in 2004, I did a couple solo projects, and around 2007, 2008, I stopped doing music, and then the very next year, Cole got signed. Ironically, this is crazy, but everybody always used to say to me like, "Yo, your man's got signed, do music," and I was just like. At that point in my life, I was like, yo, I've been doing this shit for 20 plus years. You know what I'm saying? And it felt fake to me to start doing music again because my man's got signed. You know what I'm saying? So I took a long hiatus, and I try not to have regrets about anything I do in life, but if I had it all to do over again, I damn sure never would have stopped doing music because that was one of the things that, that's what I'm here for. You know what I'm saying? I realize that now,
yeah, Kendrick.
Not even just doing, music, but just being a part of the culture, period. You know what I'm saying? I was born to do this shit. So, just recently, this past year, started making beats again, wrote a few verses, and, I wish I had more time to do it, to be honest, but shit, I got a couple kids and, run a business, so, life gets in the way a lot of times. And, of course you make time for what you want to make time for, but the kid be stretched thin a lot of times, you know what I'm saying? But we definitely about to start ramping up the music again. And the only thing that's motivating me at this point is time. Time to do it, and time is running out.
You mean that's the only thing restraining you?
Huh?
Not motivating you, that's the only thing restraining you is time.
Nah, I mean, it's motivating me too because time is running out. You know what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
And we need to hear that. We need to hear the music. Gotta come back out.
Right.
Yes. Well, do you have any inspirational words? Or matter of fact, another question I really want to ask. What other business do you have?
Well, for 12 years, I had a screen printing business with a couple partners of mine, and just last month, I stepped away from the business and sold my shares to them. And now I'm getting ready to start my own business. I'm going to be doing t-shirts again, but I'm doing a different process than I used to do, and I'm getting ready to launch that in a couple of weeks, probably the top of the year, basically. It's going to be called High Volume Factory, so check out High Volume Factory on Instagram and Facebook. We getting ready to get that popping off. And what was the question before that?
And my other question was, it was supposed to be motivational. What do you have for them? But
the only thing I could give, the one nugget I'll give everybody watching this is tell your story, because no matter what, nobody's gonna tell your story like you tell your story. And I feel like everybody's story needs to be heard. Everybody has something that we could all learn from. So that's my nugget for you. Tell your story, no matter what.
A friend of mine that was, I think, working with Cara Civil, and the weird thing was, all the time I was trying to just pump the word Bomm Sheltuh, because no matter what, my goal was like to not let anybody fucking forget that. And it was like, your family members or whatever, right? So it's like, it's one of those things like when you hear that the nervous light bulb has went out, you're like, oh, no. I'm like, Bomm Sheltuh, Bomm Sheltuh, Bomm Sheltuh, Bomm Sheltuh. You know what I'm saying? Every time I get a chance, because I'm like, you motherfuckers are not going to steal this wonderful story of hip hop, not over some like typical bickering that me and B do, which is what we do. Other than that, it's like, it ain't had no real, there's been real shit, but it ain't been no, when we grown real shit.
You heard me say we ain't dead yet. I mean, y'all are here right now doing together.
Yeah, and that's it.
Incredible.
That's what it's like. What EPMD did when we first started being a duo, and it was like they had every reason in the world to not fuck with each other. Yeah. I can't wait to joke with you about this shit, Jer. But it's like duct tape got involved. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, if they could get past duct tape getting involved, it's like, holy shit. And that's what I remembered as a youngin'. So even behind B's back, I would always say, like, Kitty Kell, like, yo, if we do make it, we're going to have to get, like, couples counseling or some type of, you know what I mean, some type of shit where we always have somebody kind of mediate, because B's a strong energy and I'm a strong energy. It's just we go about it differently. So once I found that it was like Jared told me like it was somebody getting the AIDS results and say like, man, B, man, he ain't rapping no more. Hold up, you hear the music like, wait a minute, what happened? Nah, man, he said no rapping, man. I'm just like, no.
If you're a musician, you always gonna come back.
Yo, but it was like,
I thought I never was.
I still get the
I want to touch on that too, because he made me think of it. Another motivation besides time and some regret. And I gotta shout out P Wise, because if I ain't tell this story, then he'll get on me about it. But another motivation for me in this current era right here is a couple years ago, I went to a surprise party for Cole. And Kendrick Lamar was there. And I remember I was getting ready to leave. And Cole was like, yo, come in, meet Kendrick. And he was like, yo, Kendrick, this is Nerd, Bomm Sheltuh, Fayettenam, legendary group. He taught me how to make beats and all that. This man used to spit, blah, blah, blah. And Kendrick was like, yo, word, you rap? And I was like, I mean, yeah, I know I don't really look like it nowadays. I'm a straight dad and all that, but yeah, I used to rap. And he was like, oh, okay. And in my mind at that point, I was like, yo, I'm tired of motherfuckers not knowing I rap. I'm tired of motherfuckers not knowing who I am. I'm tired of that shit. Kendrick gonna know who I am,
Kendrick
man.
Lamar, you started this. Yo, I promise you, that was the funniest part about me and him reconnected, because he really, as an MC, that's what it's like. It has nothing to do with money or nothing. He said, no, what? Whoa, stop, oh, what? You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, whack. What? It was the disbelief, and I can promise you that is that feeling. I know that how fucking dare you? You don't believe I helped teach this man the different techniques with rapping, and boy, I will give me a mic. You know what I'm saying?
They have no idea, right?
Yo, it was that moment, man. But that's honestly what started Bomm Sheltuh back up. Because the thing is, when I reunited with people, what it was, I should have moved to when he went to Wake Forest, and I didn't, just trying to think for myself, but I was thinking, I was holding allegiance to a lot of shit that doesn't have my back now, so to speak. And so it was like, it would have been in my best interest, put it like that, to go out there, because I fed off of him, and I didn't realize that. So all this time, remember I told you that monster that just gets built up, it's like, yeah, I'm so, but by the time he done left, I'm just noticing like, Filthy arms getting smaller. You know what I'm saying? Why Filthy not strong like Filthy used to be? It just started to know, and it was like, it was my spirit. And I kind of attached it, if you will, to that. Bomm Sheltuh is Fayettenam. It's not just two dudes, you know what I'm saying?
It's your spirit too.
Yeah,
hip-hop and MCing, that's your spirit.
Yeah, it's this whole shit of like, man, this town taught me, I know a nigga that was in a gang, and then I know a motherfucker that was breakdancing with a crew. That it's like there's so many things in this melting pot that hip hop is about now. People will be surprised, but you never hear about it. I was at a certain meeting because I just referenced the movie Fight Club, and this person was talking about fucking Steve Perry came through there. If you don't know who Steve Perry is, go all the way back to the beginning of this podcast, and that music that I was rocking to, that was his joint. And he's like got this, loud voice, but super duper famous. And the thing with Fayetteville is, thank God for therapists, because he's that first entity that we all could be like, no, fucking J. Cole, and it shuts people down. And when they say J. Cole, it's just a fucking, I would love to have an artist out there somehow make that weird anagram where it has Bomm Sheltuh there, because it was just so ill. But number one, I always want to make sure we make this very clear. Character Assassins, then Bomm Sheltuh, and then J. Cole, and then more. You know what I mean? It was, these things are for a person like me that don't really have family like that. These motherfuckers are my family. Therapist my family. You my family. It's like we're more like cousins or whatever that's further out, but it's nobody in Fayetteville. That's why I be like, man, fuck Fayetteville, because y'all motherfuckers know I love you, and all y'all do is just act like we ain't set the world on fire out here. The bitch that burnt Al Green with the grits is from Fayetteville. I learned that in the barbershop. I'm not joking.
Oh, word?
The bitch that burnt Al Green with them grits, she was from Fayetteville. They had the name and everything. I wish I would have, but do your research. We just got the weird, quirky,
It's what stars are born.
Yo, we always had that one. It's that person in the side picture. You know what I mean? That one person you ain't looking at.
Get burned.
Shout out to J. Cole, yo, and thank you for, repping.
Shout out to J. Cole, Blazer.
I want y'all to understand, too, like, you talk about, like, 99. I mean, not only is that early in the game, but the music is so hot. So people know that music. People outside of Fayetteville, people know that music. People love that music, and the music is timeless. So go ahead and do what you're going to do. We're going to put it all out there, and people, you're going to have new fans. You know what I'm saying?
It's all the crazy, the weird, and this is, I did get off track, so don't mind cutting all this, but I just wanted y'all to know this. The weird thing is, once he cut off music, so to speak, and for good reason, kids and all that stuff,
Life.
he's the structure man. I'm the one that's always, and I live in a fucking project, so they don't tell you who was right. But real rap, it's a thing where this resurgence, it has an effect on people. Like when I lived in that garage, I lived in the funk box for 2 years. I washed outside, neighborhood laughed at me, treated me like, I was like the neighborhood bum. In there working tirelessly, like me and that man worked on at least, I'm not exaggerating, 10 songs a day. A day. No holidays. I have over 700 songs written, but we did about approximately 300. And he knows it, but because we're beefing, I'll probably never hear those songs or whatever. I've heard Big Cat. I'm sure I got some of your music, because I used to have to steal my music for Duke. Huh?
We're talking about
you ever talk about that? I got class. But the thing is, it's like, he's still my big brother. I'm just really, really mad at him. You know what I mean? But, man,
going over there after we leave here.
2 years, we're talking about 2 years of just, I saw how far you and Mav, and shout out Mav, Mav right there, if you ain't got a chance. Yo, that was, I wanted to so bad, but no, I ain't gonna. Oh man, I gotta show you what I did earlier. I'm funny, but seriously, it's a thing where I was back there for 2 years. Mav was there. Mav seen it. Mav was there. Remind me to let you hear Mav's interlude. I'm not drunk enough. Just let me get to the point. But it was an awakening that you would go through in that spot, man. It was like having the Green Lantern rings and being right there in front of the lantern. And man, he would pull out the best MC that's inside of you. One day, he was sitting there, and I'm going like, yeah, let me do my ad-libs. He goes, why? And I said, what do you mean, why? I was just, he's like, why we... He said, why? I mean, okay, we get it. We don't have to have a room full of losses in there, because that's, if you listen to my old joints, it's like bust around like all over the place for no reason. It really cluttered up the music. So what he taught me how to do was, like, as an MC, I got a chance to stand out on that ledge on my own this time, because Shaq wasn't there. You know what I'm saying? So I'm really sitting here like, I'm really flustered and scared, but I became the best MC I've ever seen. And for what I wanted out of myself. But my point is, there's a collection of music there. There's a collection of music that happened even after that, where involving, like Mav started to come through. We started having guest stars on the show. But there's so many collections of stuff that I really want to start even if it's like a home based, some type of like not a festival, that'd be hilarious, but some sort of I don't know, a festival.
Are you a lyrical assassin or a deadly MC?
I am a deadly MC.
What about you? Are you a lyrical assassin or a deadly MC?
Are you a lyrical assassin?
I think I'm a lyrical assassin.
Okay.
Working to be a better MC.
I'm a lyrical assassin myself.
I would say both. I try to be both. You know what I'm saying?
Germ?
Like anybody else?
Yeah, don't get it twisted. Germ will grow up out the
ground.
ground.
You a lyrical assassin or a deadly MC?
I'm a beat assassin.
A beat assassin?
Okay, a beat assassin.
A beat assassin.
Shout out to CJ.
Are you a lyrical assassin or a deadly MC?
Nomad.
Nomad.
He said, look at the socks. I'm a nomad. I know Bab as a I would say a lyrical assassin. I never seen him perform, though. I had to see you perform. I don't know. Nigga, I threw
Shout out to Sean, man. I was at the Rock Shop plenty of time.
Wow. True that.
I haven't heard that name in a long time. The Rock Shop?
The Rock Shop. I remember, though, man, you ain't been an MC until you let confetti come out your hands.
I would love to see you perform.
I had confetti. I remember to this day, just standing there in the middle of the skate shop. Confetti. Them boys like, what the fuck do we do with, yeah, I guess.
I tell you, go on his YouTube. It's this video where it's like some kid rapping and it's like it's better than any video we've done. All of how creative it is, yo.
Man, you remember them days? I'm sitting there and they had to have we had to have a video because J. Cole's fame is that I got a girl to fly over from the West Coast with the promise that she could meet J. Cole through me. She fucked a bum. Man, you give it up for that motherfucker. That's fame. That was fame. I was like, shit, he is famous. She's like, yeah, you know, I'm flying out there, and I was like, yeah, I could get yeah, we'll probably see him, maybe. And so, and when we go,
dirty.
So when she flies in and shit, and my creepy ass, and I'm so sorry, you know who you are, I don't even want to say your name because the way you keep your, but you know, the awe. But anyway, I was like, so maybe let's have sex before the concert. God, I'm such a creep. And I just remember like, it was just one of the moments where I was like, that boy is famous.
With the perks, right?
Holy shit. He is famous as shit. Yo, that's when he brought Jay-Z through and all that. I was so amazed that night. I was like, dude, I scored off of his fame. Shit. Oh my God, we didn't meet him. Oh no, she's gonna be mad.
Was she tripping? She had to be tripping.
I left Sean out in the parking lot from the hotel that I went inside to go meet her. I went inside to go meet her. I was like, Sean, I'll be right back. I got her there. I was like, so, I was thinking. it left out, and from what Sean says, when we left out, I left him. Because we got a very, very big argument after that night. He was like, yo, really, man? I was like, well. Mind you, I got to come back and stay in his garage. So it's like a dog that got loose that comes back with a bunch of shit on it. Like, hey, ooh, that's crazy. I tracked in all that mud.
Pregnant and all that
yeah,
shit.
so when I come back through, I'm like, but look, Sean, besides being mad, she's going to video us a video. And I could probably squeeze out about 5 videos or so. Just let's see what we can. And so, yes, I'm a creep. And so we're sitting here, and she goes, well, you know, I don't know, I don't got any ideas. And so I thought to myself, oh boy, Quinn had his son there, and he said, man, my son likes, you know, all raps and all of that. And I was like, yo, let's just, I don't know, like, let's just say my raps, and you say my da 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 da. And the music was so, and I mean this because it's like it wasn't just a me thing. The music would be so powerful, dude. I could damn near put a stick figure up in front of you. But anything I did with Sean Beeman, again, we got some stuff to talk about. But as far as production, he is one of the best producers on planet fucking Earth. I don't understand why he's not super famous because I've watched that man bend time and space in that garage. I watched him make losers that came in there being told by their girl and by, you know, homeboys that they ain't got it or whatever, up in there rhyming like their life depended on it, and it was sounding like a blue collar Griselda. And just I always said that about me and B when we was young. I was like, yo, the only thing gonna stop me and Brian is me and Brian. I was like, because at the time we're that good where I just like, there's nothing that will come up between us, but I watch enough movies, it'll be us. You know what I'm saying? And that's just, when it comes down to it, like, I think that's what happened with us over there. We basically...
We don't worry about it. We're going to get them 300 songs out the funk box, and we're going to do some videos for them, too. So
we did some I explained stuff to the reason I'm upset about it, I explained stuff to myself. Like, we would write it like a Polaroid. Because of Sean, I would write a song within 10, 15 minutes like that. And I'm talking about chorus, you name it. And by the time we've done it, I end up in the source twice. I sent that shit on a humbug to Akash, and Akash knows Karen Civil or what have you, and I guess they were subletting out article spots on the source digitally, and that motherfucker, I got up in there twice. We were just surfing the web, just Sean being Sean, and he was like, "Did you see this?" And he can't show you no emotion. He goes, "Look at that." He said, "Look at that." Mm-hmm. Whoa. And he started smiling like, and like motherfuckers that are around is like, yo, you're in the fucking source, man. And so the pictures, like I said, they were just pictures I took being silly and shit, and he put them up. So it looks like a real rollout. But like, yeah, they were just complimenting that. And that's all. As a person that didn't make it, so to speak, that's all you want is when people do hear you, they be like, yo, I could hear where he yada yada, but yo,
that's
you
what I
ain't
was saying.
embarrassing
Y'all made it because people know the music. People know the music worldwide.
And nah, he cleared. Yeah. First, let me say this. I want to say real quick, Sean Beeman, I love you. This guy loves you. Let's just squash this shit and get it over with. And also, Sean Beeman said to me when I was interviewing him for a Bomm Sheltuh documentary a couple years ago, I said, yo, Bomm Sheltuh never made it. And he was like, what do you mean they never made it? I was like, well, you never made it. He was like, yo, y'all made it. Y'all wanted to be rappers. Y'all became rappers. Like, y'all made it. So.
And inspired other rappers, inspired J. Cole,
right.
Inspired me. There'd be neither one of us if it wasn't for y'all, and seeing what y'all.
Well, that's where I have to interject now. Yeah. Thanks, man.
Appreciate that, for real.
Can y'all give me your motivational words for the people?
Never trust a man with two first names. If you perform a murder. Cut them damn lights. Let me talk to you. No, but seriously, I don't know what to tell you, man. All I can say is just... I
mean, I told you mine already. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Basically, a cat told me this many years ago, and it's been ringing true so many times, but he was just like, whatever you're doing as a kid and what you love, like, never stop doing that. Because when you do, the rest of your life, you'll miss that thing and wish you could do that thing, whatever it is. And that shit rings true to me, like, every time I think about it. Because when he was telling me that, I was rapping. And then years later, I stopped. And I'm like, damn, the shit that dude told me is, like, so true every time I think about that shit. So no matter what you do, just make sure you love to do it, especially things that you did as a kid. You know what I'm saying?
But seriously, just educate yourself. I joke a lot, but that's the biggest problem that I have with myself is that I didn't get a lot of the education that was really required to walk this earth with other human beings. I lived in the fantasy world of rapping and I get really resentful about it, but I have nobody to blame but myself. But I also understand that you hop into that lifestyle because your life might suck. You know what I mean? So I don't know the answer, but I'm just telling you, if you can, just try to remember to be as educated as you can. And because this stuff it's based on so many different likes and dislikes, you're never going to hit them all at once. So it's like always just try to make sure that you don't have it all riding on this because it might let you down. It might not, but just know that it might, And I'm from a world of family of suicide committers, you name it. So it's not a thing where like, nah, man, sometimes you just gotta start working back in the bakery back home. Nah, some people are out here blowing their brains out because they feeling like failures because they couldn't be a professional lottery winner. And so just remember that, like, this shit is, it gets that deep now because there's money involved. So you can't be the silly, talented person, just that. It would, bad things can happen. So just know that. Good things can happen, but I'm sadly, I kind of, for right now, represent some bad things that happen. So I want people to learn from my mistakes. Also learn from the good parts, but realize those mistakes can have very, very, very big consequences.
Thank you so much for that. Can you tell everyone, that was really deep. I felt that. Can you tell everybody where they can follow you at?
My house has an alleyway right over by where no cameras can get in. I'll never see it coming.
I'm on Instagram, NERVRECK, Nerve Wreck.
I got a lot of different names, seriously. But I would start with
You got like 8 Instagram pages.
DF Bomm, or anything like Filthy Bomm Sheltuh, FILTHEBOMMSHELTUH, Bomm Sheltuh. But seriously, just look around for me. I try to make myself attached to whatever he's doing. You'll see like a weird light from like I Full Empty. That's me. Yeah, so just weird shit. Thank you and shit. Fayettenam 26 and
Big Cass, Fayettenam OG.
And tell your mama.
Appreciate the Queen for having us.
Thank you all for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Until next time, you guys, this is Lizzie Yayo with Keepin' It a Bando.